My name is Alex Warner. I am the project manager for existing industry for the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. My contact information will also be on a slide at the end of the presentation. But please, if you have any questions after this, please don't hesitate. Just reach out. We're here to help you in any way that we can. So this is going to be a webinar on how to apply for the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Relief Loans. And the reason we're putting this together is most small businesses have not had to apply for any type of disaster relief loans in the past. And so we just want to make sure that you are informed on what is going to be expected of you before you start the loan process, the forms that you're going to have to fill out, and the information that you're going to need again before you get started, and how many of the owners of the business will have to be present and fill out information. So this is going to be a disaster relief loan for the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're going to go over what type of businesses are eligible to apply for these loans, what you're able to use these loans for, and how far down the supply chain for businesses that are being affected. Those businesses can also apply for this loan as well. So, but the most important thing to remember is it still is a loan. So the applicants must show an acceptable credit history to the SBA. As far as the repayment of the loans, the SBA is willing to work with these small businesses because they don't want to burden you with a large payback. So they're willing to stretch these out for as long as 30 years to make it a reasonable payback. And we're going to get into what you're able to use these loans for, and most important, what you're not able to use these loans for. Now, the most important question, of course, is how much money is out there and how much can I borrow? So small businesses can get up to $2 million through this loan. Just be aware you do have to show credit history and financial history that you need $2 million. So the interest rate for this loan for small business is going to be 3.75%, and for nonprofits it will be 2.75%. And like I said, they're willing to stretch these loans out to as many as 30 years. And these loans are used to pay fixed debts, payrolls, and accounts payable. You cannot use this money to consolidate other debts. You cannot use this money to, if it's a lower interest rate, you can't combine all of your SBA loans together. This is only to cover the COVID-19 pandemic and get small businesses through this. Now, small businesses can get up to $25,000 without collateral. If you get anything above $25,000, you will have to put some sort of collateral. They prefer real estate, but they're willing to work with businesses because they want to get as many people some relief in this crazy time right now. So they're even doing inventory, they're doing capital. So they're trying to work with the small businesses in any way possible. So if you need more than $25,000, just remember that you will have to put something as collateral. So what types of small businesses can apply? This is a short, brief description on who's eligible, but the majority of small businesses are eligible to apply, and we're going to get into a list of businesses that are not eligible here in a minute. But you do have to have a physical presence inside of an area that is deemed a disaster area. So just because you have a mailing address in a disaster area, the physical address of the business must be in a disaster area. Now, the entire state of Georgia has been deemed a disaster area, and I believe, and Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, all 50 states have now been declared a disaster area. So as long as your business is inside the United States, you should be good. And thank you, Patrick. And as you can see, if you do have the chat open, that Patrick is here, and if you have any questions as I'm going through the presentation, please ask. And if I catch it, I'll be more than happy to announce it. Or if Patrick can answer it through the chat, please use that as well. Now, something to remember with these loans, these loans do not go through any type of bank like a previous SBA loan that you might have. These loans are going directly through the U.S. Treasury. So what that means is there is no cost to apply for these loans, and there's no obligation to accept the loan if one is offered to you. So nobody really, I mean, we've heard some rumors about what's going to be coming down with this new stimulus package and everything, but nobody knows for sure until everything is signed and passed. So our recommendation is, as of yesterday, it's still a 2 to 3 week process once you apply for this loan to get any sort of resolution from the SBA. So if something better comes out in the stimulus package in the next couple of days and you are also approved for an SBA loan, you're out nothing for having done the application process. So we're encouraging all small businesses to please do this sooner than later, because in 2 to 3 weeks, if you don't like whatever was offered to you through this package, then you'll still have to start this SBA disaster loan, and then you'll be at another 2 to 3 weeks. And one of the benefits that I heard yesterday through a call with the SBA as well is once you do sign the loan from the SBA, it is a 1-year deferment from that date. And Patrick, if you can also confirm that with me as well. So there's no worry to pay it back right away. So as we go through it, we're going to go through the forms, and I'm going to have large versions of the forms just so that you can see what information you are going to need before you get started. The system is completely bogged down, and as Patrick wrote in a note earlier, we had a website, and part of this presentation I'm going to show you on how to go through the website. The website is completely crashed just with the number of small businesses that are trying to get some sort of relief in this time. So the more prepared that you are and the more information that you know that needs to be filled out, the better. Now, if you have not filled out your taxes for 2019 yet, a current year profit and loss statement will also be accepted. Now, there are some types of entities that are not eligible for these loans. Please read over these businesses here. And there's also a couple of exceptions with these businesses. So if you feel like you may or may not qualify, please reach out to me or reach out to Patrick, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through the process. And Shannon, I can only see my slides, so I'm not sure. So how to apply for these loans? Again, it has changed since yesterday. Like I said, there was a simple disasterloan.sba website, and we would input all of the information through that website. So now they have created through that same link on the website. It's now a Dropbox where you'll have all the forms pre-filled out and then upload them through a Dropbox, or there's also a mail-in option as well. And at the end of this presentation, if you still need some more help, I will be more than happy to refer you to all of our partners in the community. As you can tell, Patrick with the SBDC is assisting us now in the chat. But if you would like a representative from SCORE or any of these others to reach out to you, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to give you a referral. And like I said, all 50 states are now eligible for these loans, and it was a 2 to 3 week process when all 50 states were not eligible for these loans. There's only so many loan officers out there. They are doing their best to bring in more and more people to get these processed sooner than later. But if you wait, if you lag, it's only going to be a longer process for you in the future. So we want to get these applications in today if possible. Before we move on, does anyone have any questions? And yes, Johnny, all of the slides will be available after the presentation. If you go to togetherforfoco.com/business resources, there's also a link for it in the very first comment on the top of this page, and we'll add it in through the presentation in the chat as well. There's also a short video of me doing this presentation, and there's links to all of the SBA forms there as well. All right. And if nobody has any questions, we're going to move on to the forms and what information we'll need to fill these out. And Laura, the applications will be based on the type of business. Most all of small businesses will fill out the same form. The only one that requires different forms would be sole proprietorships. All right, so this is an area that we're gonna kind of just run through right quick. Hopefully the website is up very soon, but it is very simple that you'll need to log in and you'll fill out these forms. We're going to go over each one of these forms later on in the presentation, but just know that you will need anyone with 20% ownership of the company to fill out forms. And if it is a partnership, you will need all 100% of ownership involved in filling out the forms. All right. All right. So you will go to the website and you will click Apply Online. It will then ask you if you do not already have a login with the SBA to create a login. So you will click on the Register tab. And you will fill out a short little questionnaire similar to signing up for any sort of website with your name, contact information, create a password, and go through the 3-question verification process. You would then click Apply Online and go to Business and Nonprofits. Like I said, this right now is the website is down, but if it does get up, I want to briefly go through this information so that you do know where and what to do. So you will then choose what type of business you are. If you're a sole proprietor, there will be different forms. We will go over them towards the end of the presentation. But the most important thing to remember is that you do need to make sure that you are applying for an economic injury. All right? And then again, you will also need to make sure that your state and county apply in a disaster zone. Like I said, the entire state of Georgia is in a disaster zone, and all 50 states now, I believe, as well. And you will need to make sure that you are also applying for the COVID-19 loan assistance program. All right. You will need to certify that all the information you are going to be putting into these documents is truthful, and you will also need to say that you have read the executive orders page. Okay, so we're going to go over Form 5. This will be for all small businesses that are not a sole proprietor. There will be a large copy of this slide in a couple of them, so if you cannot read the information in just a second, just know that I will have it exploded up in just a minute. So the most important thing, and while you're filling out these forms, if anything has a red asterisk on the form, that is mandatory that you have that information. So if you want an easy denial, leave some of this information blank. It was a much easier process when it was online because it would not let you move forward. So most importantly, while we're doing this in a paper aspect, or while we're doing it through an upload, just make sure that you have this presentation and slides available so you can know what information is most important. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me or reach out to the SBDC. So this is going to be the front page of Form 5. We're not going to go over everything. I just want you guys to look at it and to make sure that if you do not know some of this information, that you can get with your accountant or whoever does your taxes and get this information to have the forms filled out properly. And then on page 2 and 3, we're going to get to ownership information. And again, so you will need anyone with 20% ownership of the company, and if it's a partnership, you will need 100% of the ownership's information. And this is going to be some of the ownership, or this will be the ownership information that you will need to provide. And again, make sure that anything with an asterisk you have filled in on your forms. And make sure that everyone signs and dates their forms as well. All right. And after we get through Form 5, as you can tell, it is a very easy 3-page loan application. Next, we're going to get into some personal financial statements and some tax return information, and then you'll be ready to submit. Okay, so we're going to need to upload personal financial statements for each owner. And this is going to be the information that will be required. So please, again, make sure that you have this information readily available. And if you do not already have it readily available, make sure that you find it, because it is a necessary process in the loan application. Right. Then you're also going to need to show your personal assets and debts. And again, I know that you cannot read this slide. There will be a larger version here in just a minute. Right. So now we're going to get to a schedule of liabilities form. And if you have a schedule of liabilities form already in an Excel file, you can upload that one for sure. This is just an example that the SBA has provided. You can transfer your information into their form, but if you already have the information in a different file, you can upload that file as well. Okay. So how it worked for the 4506T before the website crashed, you would give the SBA permission to pull your 4506T. You would print it out, you would sign it, and then you would upload it back into the system. Right now, that's not how it's working. Patrick, if you have any idea on if there's still an electronic way to do it, or if they're just going to have to fill it out. But we have some updates after our phone call with the SBA yesterday and this morning that Patrick and I will get into at the end of the presentation. So this is what the 4506T consists of. It's just a brief overview of your tax return information. So you'll just need to make sure that you sign and date the information at the bottom and upload it into the Dropbox or mail it in. Okay. And once you have the information for all of the owners of the business, it's time to move on to the next section. And this is where you will need to upload the personal tax returns for each owner. Okay. And once you certify that everything is truthful, you are ready to submit the application. So as you can tell, it's a very simple process. They're trying to make it as easy as possible for all businesses to apply for these loans. They're even cutting out some of this paperwork, depending on the business type, just to make it to where everyone possible can get some sort of relief in this time. Okay. When you do log back into the website, you will have a message center under your login. It'll be in the top right corner. Once you submit the application, you'll get a message in the message center saying that your application has been submitted. And this is also where you'll revert back to, and we'll go over it in just a minute. If the loan officer has any questions for you, they will reach out to you this way. But also on the front page of Form 5, there's multiple places for you to put contact information. If you could put various types of ways that you can be contacted in that section while the loan officer is going over your documentation, if they have a question, they will attempt to contact you at that time. Like I said, all 50 states are now eligible to apply for this loan. So if you are not available to be contacted or you don't put enough phone numbers, who knows the next time the loan officer is going to be looking at your paperwork if you do not answer the phone. So just put multiple ways for them to get in touch with you. Okay. If at any point through the presentation or through the application process, and again, this is only for the website version, it's going through Dropbox and mail-in right now since the website has crashed, but they are working on getting the website back up and running, I've been told. But if at any point through the application process you had clicked save, when you log back in, you'll have a yellow box and you will need to click continue your existing application. If you click apply online again, you will start a completely new loan application and you could bog down the system or essentially get kicked out. So just keep that in mind that you want to continue your existing loan application and not start a new one when you log back in. And here's a slide, and all it says is make sure that you save. Before you move on from each page, there's been a lot of lag in the system with 30 million small businesses trying to apply. So make sure that you save the information before you attempt to move on in case the website crashes and kicks you off. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the sole proprietorship. Before we do, does anyone have any questions? And where you register, if you would follow the link, it's available on Together for FOCO under Business Resources. Or if you, I believe a bunch of people have been putting in the chat, when you log into the SBA website, it will ask you to create a login. Okay. Now for sole proprietorships, most of the information that we just covered will be correct for you, except for you will be filling out a Form 5C instead of a Form 5. But you would also do the same. You would click the blue circle for apply online and then click business and nonprofits. You would then click sole proprietorship and make sure that you are applying for economic injury. Okay. Now these are the types of businesses that would qualify as a sole proprietorship, and on the right you can see the types of forms that are going to be required for you, and we're going to go over them here shortly. And if you have a question on whether you don't know what type of business you are, please reach out to Patrick or myself. We will be happy to help you out. And again, with the sole proprietor, you will have to certify that everything will be truthful. And Caleb, for interest rate, for businesses, it is 3.75%, and for nonprofits, it is 2.75%. And you will also have to certify that you have read the executive orders page. Okay. And this is going to be the front page of the Form 5C. Again, before you start filling out the loan application information, make sure that you do know the majority of this. And if you do not, make sure that you get in contact with an accountant that can help you out. Okay. And then you're going to get into the debts and insurance and assets. Okay. And then again, for a sole proprietorship, you will have to do the 4506T form. And you will print it off and sign it and date it and upload it into the system. Again, since everything is going through the mail currently, or going through a Dropbox system on the SBA.gov website, you will have to upload all of these documents. So while you're saving them in your computer, either make a folder to where you have everything organized correctly and titled so that you're not accidentally uploading wrong documents into your SBA form. Make sure that everything is titled correctly and organized in a folder. Now this is just a third slide saying it is very important throughout this process to make sure that you are saving all of your information and just keep everything written down, take screenshots, take pictures, anything throughout the application process. Okay. So a form that could be required and would be required for sole proprietorships would be a monthly sales figures form. So this is what that information is needed. So please review it. If you have any questions, like I said, Patrick is here. I am here. Please ask. That's the whole point of this presentation. Okay. And here will be the back of the form. And that is all that would be required for a sole proprietorship. You will then certify that everything is truthful and you are ready to submit the application. Now, once you have submitted the application, you will get a application number. Please make sure that you save this confirmation number if you are ever calling into the SBA offices and have a question. This is going to be how they will be able to pull up your information. So please make sure that you write this down, print this page out. The application number is the most important thing. They have so many loan applications coming through. If you do not know this, it's for one going to put a drag on one of their people answering phones, but two, it could frustrate you, and we want to make this as unfrustrating as possible, or as it already is. So you will get a message in your message center saying that you have submitted everything correctly. And in the coming weeks after you have submitted your application, if you log in, you will then see that your applications that you already have that are existing, you will then click on those to see the status and get updates. So once you click on it, it will tell you whether or not you're in review, whether or not you've been looked at, whether or not you've been denied. If you do get denied, you will get a reason for denial mailed to you, and you will have up to 6 months to fix whatever issue they denied you for, and then submit a request for a re-review. And again, we cannot emphasize it enough when the website is up and working to save, save, save. Now again, I am Alex Warner. I am the Existing Industry Project Manager. And at this time, I'm going to bring in Patrick Fulbright. He is with the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. Patrick?
Hey, thanks, Alex. Hopefully everybody can hear me. This information that Alex has given to you is very important to help you process the application and all the subsidiary documents you need to get into applying for this loan. What I'd like to talk about quickly is some of the things we've learned since last Thursday when we went active with the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which is now, as Alex said, across the whole United States. When you go in, and I would recommend you download all the forms from the website we have been putting on to the chat side, and if you did not get that, we can send it back out again. On that first application, they call it Form 5. And if you have something to write with, I would encourage you to take some notes. There's several boxes on there. The very first thing, since you're not online, you're not going to get an SBA application number. However, once it's processed, whether through Dropbox or you mail it in, you will be getting some type of notification that they have received your documents and will be issuing you a SBA application number. That number is very important. That's how you can check the status of your application. In box, each box has a different number to it. So as you're writing notes, look at or write down this. Box 3, and this is for the LLC, S Corp, C Corp, not the sole proprietor, is your applicant's legal name. That is your name. That's not the business name. The box below it, box 5, is the trade name. That is your business name. Make sure you put your legal business name that you have filed with the federal EIN or the state of Georgia. Below that, they ask for a mailing address. That is your personal mailing address, your home address. Below that, box 8 is going to say damaged property address. That is your business address. So put that in there, even though in this case we don't have a hurricane or anything like a tornado. The damaged property is your business address. You will see, especially if you go online, there's a box 15. The online, when it's back up again, is grayed out. You do not have to put an amount of estimated loss right now. I would not even put that in if you're doing the paper version. And we've got some new updates to that when we were on our SBA call earlier this morning. If you do have insurance coverage for loss for business, they do want you to put that in box 13. And that's just in the case when they go through your application, if you are getting a payment from an insurance company, then they usually subtract that from the total. On the second page, when it talks about your legal name under owners, this is box 17. This is the box that gets most confusing with applicants. That legal name is your name, and in it, it talks about your ownership. So here's the rule here. If you have partners in the business that have equity, it has to be, if it's greater than 20%, they have to go on this form. If you have to, you can download a second page if you have multiple owners greater than 20% ownership in the business. That's under box 17. There is a little area called business entity owner. This is for the business owner or owners that have other businesses that they are also have ownership in. That's where this goes. If you do not, and you're just applying for this EIDL for your business, then don't put anything in that business entity owner area. It messes up the process, especially when you're online. It won't let you go further in the process. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. On page 3 of the form, this is where I would take some time and talk about, it's a comment section. This is where I would tell the processor who's going to be looking at this what kind of money you're looking for as far as for the loan. And when I mean that, it's really all your liabilities, your payroll, accounts payable. It's not to replace sales. What it's really, this loan is doing is keeping you above water to maintain your business. You can also include quarterly tax payments, and I characterize this as liabilities, things that you have to pay out your business to keep your business afloat. We had a question about bridge or emergency loans that were maybe already issued. You had some. That can also be, that's the only part of refinancing that this loan will do. If you have other SBA disaster loans, maybe from the hurricane we had, Hurricane Michael, or some other SBA, that is not part of this. You can't refi it. Only if you have a bridge or emergency loan, that can be taken in consideration. A couple things we learned today. What they're looking for when they approve you is really your ability to pay back the loan. They are a cash flow lender in this EIDL disaster loan process. So they're really looking at, your assets that substantiate, if it's over $25,000, to secure the note. So they like real estate. They can look at inventory. They can look at your equipment. But they're looking at how will you secure the note, and then how would you be able to pay it back. That's why you have to fill out also a personal financial statement and P&Ls from your business. If you get denied, find out, of course, you'll be told through a letter why you're being denied. You have up to 6 months to change things. You might bring in, if you didn't have your spouse on the loan, you could bring them in, or another partner that's over 20%. Or if things have changed in the business. I got a chat on the side about a business starting up, but they don't really think they'll have any type of revenue until later, like May or so. Well, they're probably going to get denied. But if you start having sales and stuff, that's a change in the condition of the business. So you can reapply. You don't have to start all over again because you already have an SBA application number, use that and go back into the application process and state the difference that you've experienced in the business. Right now, one of the best ways of doing things is to use the drop box that is actually on that site I sent. You can mail it in. Because of the condition of the volume of applicants, typically in the deck that Alex just went over, they had a 2 to 3 week turnaround time to let you know that you have been approved. That doesn't mean you're going to get the money then, but that was an approval. They've extended that out now to 4 weeks. So you're looking at a month. The reason I tell you that is that when you're figuring your expenses, I would go out 3 months and put those totals in that you have the liabilities out for 3 months. Get those totals and put it into your document and the other forms. Think about it. You're going to have at least a month before you even get an answer, and then it could take another week or so to get your funds. So you're already a month and a half out. Going out 3 months could be enough, might not be enough, depending on how long this current condition lasts. The good news we found out today, if conditions continue, they are going to have an opportunity for you to go back into the loan and either up it, or if you don't need the amount of money you've already put in, you can lower it. So there is going to be some flexibility there. They're going to try to work with small businesses to help them. And as Alex spoke earlier, we just don't know. So I would go at least 3 months out with expenses, but no, there's going to be some flexibility if this thing continues. All right, the comment came up too about what about other stimulus, the CARE Act, the payroll stimulus. Right now, we have no information on direction on that. I believe CARE Act is still haven't been completely approved yet. I think it was supposed to be this morning, but I haven't heard anything yet. If those come through and those are a better vehicle for your business, then you do not have to take, even if you are accepted, your application has been approved, you don't have to take the loan. You can deny it and go after one of these other stimulus packages. You can actually just put it on hold and come back to it maybe after 6 months. Things might have changed and you still need the loan. You could go back in and reapply for it or reactivate that loan. So as we get that information, we will work with Alex and of course, my area is 13 counties in northeast of Georgia. We'll work with all the chambers and disseminate that information as quickly as we can so everybody's informed on how to get that stimulus package or what are the rules and stuff around it. Let's see, anything else? I think that's... A couple things also on the new businesses. I mentioned that a little earlier about this person not having revenue, but if you are a new business and you don't have a tax return, go ahead and put in your profit and loss, your income statement, showing your revenue, expenses for the time you have been in business. You will also have to fill out a personal financial statement, and I put the acronym. A lot of the verbiage is PFS. That just means personal financial statement. Yeah. So those are some quick tips and some things we've learned recently. I'm going to hand it back to Alex, and if I have my colleague on, I don't know if she's come on yet. If she has anything additional, her name's Robbie. She might be able to add some stuff.
I'm here, Patrick, but no, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, Alex, I'll turn it back to you.
Right. Thank you, Patrick and Robbie. We do have a couple of questions up in the queue. If I have not answered them or if we have kind of moved past them in the chat, we are not meaning to ignore you at all. So if you would, please ask your questions. We are here to help. Can we go back a few slides for eligible business? Absolutely. Give me 1 second, Rebecca. I don't want you guys to get dizzy. I'm just going to go through them quickly. Really makes me feel like we accomplished something having to go through them all. All right. Is this the slide that you were looking for, Rebecca? Absolutely. And again, this entire PowerPoint presentation is available on the togetherforfoco.com website under the Business Resource tab. It's been posted in the chat a couple of times. So please use this resource. If you want to send it to somebody, I have no copyright on any of this information. Send it out. We want as many people to know this information, to know how to apply for these loans, and to get as many businesses some help as possible. And I'm also it has not been asked yet, but I'm also going to just let you guys know, since you have registered for this webinar, I have whatever email address that you applied to join the webinar with. As soon as Patrick or I get any information on the CARE Act or any other opportunities to help small businesses, you will be on a distribution list, and I will make sure that you guys, for one, have the most up-to-date information, and two, if we need to have another webinar to tell you how to apply for who knows what's going to be coming down the line, we will make sure that you are aware of whatever we are doing in the future. We are here to help you in any way, and so just be on the lookout. The chamber will be posting and advertising. Who knows what we'll be covering next week, depending on what comes through Congress. But if we do need to put a webinar back together, we will do that, and we'll do as many as possible, again, to make sure that the most small businesses will be able to get some relief in this crazy time. And also, we will also be doing another presentation this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And it's just for small businesses to be able to interact one-on-one in a webinar situation. It's going to be called Ask a Banker. So we're going to be bringing in a couple of different bankers just to tell them what's available to them through the bank side of things. Okay. So if nobody has any more questions about the small businesses, I'm going to go back towards the end of the presentation to put up Patrick and my contact information again. So again, I apologize if you get dizzy looking at the slides. Ooh. Went a little too far. 1 second. So this is my contact information. Please write it down. Email me if you need anything. We are here to help. And this will be Patrick's information as well. And Robbie, I apologize. I ran out of time and did not got a slide with your name. But if you would like to put a comment for people to be able to reach out to you as well, please do.
Sure, I will. Thanks.
And with that being said, Patrick, did we miss any questions that you see?
I'm answering a couple right now. The gentleman with multiple companies, yes, you can apply for different businesses. You don't have to bundle them. Be careful with ownership on the equity side. Again, they have to be part of it if they own 20% more of different companies, and you have to let the SBA know that you have other businesses on that Form 5 underneath Section 17. Yeah, you have to on that. Yeah, I answered that. Okay. And there was one other one I missed that was coming pretty fast. The lady that has just started up and dire sales and stuff, go ahead and apply. And what could happen, they might deny you, but hopefully, if things turn around here with this current condition, you might get some sales in, and your P&L might look differently. Again, you have 6 months. It goes into a holding status, and like I said, when you get that, hold on to your SBA applicant number. That's what's going to trigger it. We heard today that there are all intentions of getting the system back up and going, and the online is the preferred way. And don't take this wrong, but what happens when you do the paper form or the Dropbox, it somewhat goes into a black hole. You don't really get the visualization unless you get up online. But there is a 1-800 number, and I'll put that in the chat. that give it some time to get there, a day or so, if it's Dropbox, or a few days with mailing. And you can check with customer service with the SBA, and they are staffing up, but there is a wait right now, and we've had it up to an hour, hour and a half. But I would do it later in the day. I don't know if it's 24/7. I'll find that out and let Alex know. But for customer service, I'm putting the number out there for the SBA. You can check status if you've done an upload or mailed in. And then the key again, please write down that SBA applicant number, so when it comes back online, you can hop right back online and use your number to find out your status. It will be underneath the messaging area of the applicant. So at the top, I believe it's at the top, right, you'll have messaging, and that's where they're going to notify you unless you call in. If it's denied, you will be getting a letter through the mail on the denial and the reasons for the denial. I will tell you that on our call this morning, the SBA is being very liberal with approvals. So if you've got the documents filled out, you've got showing your sales, showing collateral, hopefully it'll sail right through. They're trying to speed up the process. One last thing, they did say that the Form 5, because it was really designed for hurricanes or major disaster areas, they are revamping it, and a new form is going to come out that's more simplistic. So as we get more information, I put it in the chat, but we'll disseminate information to Alex, and we'll try to get information out as soon as we know, and all the details around whether it's the CARE Act or other stimulus or changes to what's going on with the SBA site or the different forms. Don't hesitate to reach out. We are getting a lot of calls. What we do at our office here in Gainesville, we have you calendared, and we will call you back so we won't miss any of your questions. But I know this is a daunting time, and it's a little bit of a struggle. But here's my rule of thumb. When in doubt, go ahead and apply for the IDL. Get it into the works. You don't have to accept it if you're approved. Things could change quickly here. And maybe another stimulus or another package might be more advantageous for your business. You can just put it in a hold status, and at least you have your information into the SBA. Hopefully that helps.
Absolutely. And Patrick, there's a question about express bridge loans. I'm not familiar with these. Would you be able to help this gentleman?
Okay, on the express bridge loan, if you just got those are ones that they will refi into this loan. They'll pay it off during this loan. There's probably you're going to need some of the details around it. So when you get a applicant or a processor calls you back or gets you on the phone, you'll have to have those details. But I would put that in your information about the bridge loan. And if there's not a specific location, put it on Form 5 in that comment section about your bridge loan that you'd like to get that part of your liability, and see if they can take care of that. There was a question about personal guarantees. They mentioned that today. It depends. It depends on what kind of volume you're talking about and the complexity of your business. I can't give you more specifics there. The loan processor with SBA will talk to you about that. I'm going to tell you, you could have to do personal guarantees. But right now in the regular forms, they're not requesting it. But depending, again, on the volume or the dollar amount and the complexity of the business, you might. Don't know about the percentages on that either. Okay. Yes. So we got some information. 501c3s and 6s can apply. Use the Form 5 for LLC, C Corp, S Corp. Yes, you need to use your 2018 tax return. Here's something we heard today. They are being more liberal, so you're not having to upload your tax return. You just have to fill out that form 46, what is it? It's the 46OT.
4506.
Yeah, thank you. My numbers got crossed. 4506T. You can use that form and you do not have to upload your physical forms, your tax return. That 4506T gives them, the SBA, the permission to pull your tax forms. So that will cut down the volume of stuff you have to upload on Dropbox or mailing in right now.
All right,
Again,
thank you,
just
Patrick.
to echo,
Do we
yeah,
have
thank
any
you.
more questions?
On that comment about the owner and what personal information, Robbie, did they mention that at the end of the SBA call? About that was one of the questions that did come up earlier that we haven't got clarity on, because usually with a 501c3 you have a board. I don't know if we got any information on that. So Ken, do me a favor. You got my information up there. Send me a follow-up email with that same question, and I'll get you an answer. It's already in the works. SBA hasn't came out directly with an answer to that. I am thinking it could be that all the board members are going to have to be part of this, not just the executive director of a 501c3. But I will get that clarified for you, and we'll get you an answer.
And yes, Brad, here you go. Maybe. Hold on. This is my contact information. And again, Patrick, Robbie, and I are here to help you guys in any way. So please reach out to us, shoot us an email, give us a call. We are being flooded with a lot of requests and a lot of questions. So if we do not answer your call right away, it's not a disrespect to you. Just there are a lot of small businesses. This is now the third one of these webinars that we have put on, and we will keep doing them until businesses quit asking to join. So we are here to help anybody, and we will be more than happy to help you. If we don't answer the phone call or the email right away, just give us a little bit of time, and we will get to you. If you have any more questions, please reach out to us. Again, we're here to help. You will be on a distribution list for any updates as it comes to the CARE Act or anything else that will be affecting small businesses. And if we need to do a new series of webinars, we will do so. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. All this entire presentation and a video of this presentation will be available at togetherforfoco.com. Just hang in there. We are here to help, but just everyone needs to stay strong together. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Patrick.